So my name is Torin. I guess I'll demo some of my instruments. I mostly play the flute, or bamboo flutes, I should say. And so I kind of just show off what I have here in my collection. And then I'll first start off with Vanderelli, which is a northern Indian instrument, thousands of years old, and the tradition still goes on today. So I'll play a little composition, talk about it, and then I'll move on to something else. Okay. So the composition that I'm going to play is it's called an alap, so it's like a slow, improvised, there's no time at all, you just kind of feel it out. So this composition is called Bhupali, so it's a pentatonic composition, and it's meant to be played during this time, in the evening time, between 7 and 9. So usually, you know, traditionally you're supposed to play only certain compositions during the certain times of the day, but over here in the United States we can kind of break the rules and do what we want to do. But the whole idea is like, you know, the feeling of the composition won't come if you play it at the wrong time of the day, which I kind of think that's true. So I do break the rules a lot, but this one's called Bhupali, and yeah, it's an evening rag for meditation and devotion. So like these flutes come in all different sizes, and the background noise you hear is called the tempura. That's the drone. So the drone is to help you keep on pitch and also to have the emotion surrounding the rag. So in real life, you're supposed to have like two people would play these huge long instruments, and they pluck the strings and they'd vibrate, and that's what that sound, which comes out of an iPad. That's what that's supposed to imitate here. But in a classical concert, you would have two people playing these big long things. And yeah, that'd be your tempura, or setting the drone. So, you know, a lot of non-Western music uses a lot of drones too, especially Middle Eastern music. So that's kind of an interesting thing that I learned about doing this stuff. So I'm kind of a new student to music. I've only been playing for about 3.5, 4 years. But it's like been in a session just collecting flutes and stuff. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun journey. So I'm going to show off some, what else I got here. So let's see. So I know we talked about the shakuhachi, me and Gerard did earlier. So I don't have any lessons in playing this thing. It's been a difficult journey trying to find people to learn from. But kind of like, you know, kind of just self-taught learning how to play it, but I don't know any actual songs. And that's kind of the hard part is like, you know, finding people to teach you this stuff is a process in itself. So hopefully I get there at some point. But this is a flute from Japan, traditional Japanese flute, ancient instrument. So yeah, it was used a lot by monks who would put a basket on their head and they would wander around and they would play this instrument. And then it became a time where spies would put the basket on their head and pretend to be monks playing the instrument. And then they would spy on other government officials. And then the new emperor came in and just banned all monks playing the instrument because they couldn't tell who was a spy and who wasn't. But eventually that was reversed. And so now, like I said, the shakuhachi originally came from China, and I have its Chinese grandfather right here too, but I'll show that next. Yeah, Japanese instrument, used a lot for meditation and all that kind of great stuff. And also with shakuhachi music, silence is a big part of it. So if you ever watch the shakuhachi player, he'll play something and then he'll just kind of stop for a long time. And that's because silence is a part of the music, and so it's like silence is a note in itself, which is a kind of interesting concept. Because, you know, as musicians, you think, oh my God, is there silence? We're losing the audience, we're ruined, all that kind of stuff. But in the traditional Japanese culture, in the music, it's not. The silence is just another note, which is another interesting part about music in different places. So this is a tricky instrument, so if I mess up a lot, you know, forgive me. And the shakuhachi came from Japan. Oops. The shakuhachi came from Japan, but originally it didn't look like this. This is a huge piece of bamboo with the root left in the end. And all my instruments are made of bamboo. And as you can see, this is also a North Indian instrument made of bamboo, but the root is cut off. It's kind of in the middle. But this one, they left the root on. And also, interesting fact, this was also used as a weapon in case for self-defense. But if you do, it's a pretty sturdy club here. But yeah, so the root is left in the end. But the father of this instrument is called the shao from China. And so these are pretty long. They come in a whole bunch of keys. The similar concept, not thick, not thin, sorry, not as thick as the shakuhachi, but pretty thin. And it usually has a horn, a ram's horn at the bottom of this. This is a piece of plastic. The flute was like 30 bucks, so it broke off. But ram's horn, bamboo, same kind of concept, but has a lot more holes in the shakuhachi, but you only need to worry about 8 of them. I'm really not sure what these 6 holes in the middle do. I don't know. It could be for ornamentation, because sometimes people attach these ribbons to these middle holes. Let's see if I can play this one. It's not as difficult to get air into it as this one is. So this flute is another end-blown flute. This one comes from Central America, South America. Well, I say South America, I say Central America, the Mexico kind of region. This is kind of a replica of a traditional Anasazi flute. These can be a lot longer, but huge bass sound. I don't know too much about how it's, how the scale is or how it's tuned and all that kind of stuff. But I just do know where it's from. And yeah, a lot of these flutes were found in the desert and in abandoned places where Native Americans once lived. And people found these flutes and they tried to recreate them, and there you go. is kind of a famous flute because you guys have probably heard it in all your yoga meditation CDs or anything like that. This is it's called a Kiowa love flute, but this is kind of a reinvention of a traditional North American Native American flute. So usually the traditional ones have a 6th hole, and sometimes that hole is bound with ribbon or leather. And there's different types of scales that are traditional to North American flute, Native American flute in the north. But this flute's been modified. It just has 5 holes. And so this is kind of a modern invention, modern take on the traditional instrument, because this didn't come about until the 1980s. But all the original, authentic, Native American flutes have 6 holes and not 5. But you guys may have heard this one before. I brought today. I do have some other ones, but I probably can't play them that well, which is why I didn't bring them. But so I'll end with another North Indian composition. This one's called Hamsandwani. So it kind of means sound of the swans. And I don't think it has a specific time of day. This one came from South India to North India. So you have a lot of those different types of compositions that migrate from the south to the north. And those have different rules, so you don't have to play them at a certain time of day. thanks everybody.